In 1943, a dead body washed ashore in Spain, a briefcase of secrets chained to its wrist. It was an elaborate lie to deceive Hitler, change the course of World War II and save thousands of lives. The unbelievable true story of the man who never existed. The year is 1943, and the tide of the Second World War is beginning to turn. After a long campaign, Allied forces had driven the Axis powers from North Africa. The next move was clear, a strike against the Axis grip on Europe. All military logic pointed to one location, the island of Sicily. Winston Churchill famously called it the soft underbelly of Europe, a stepping stone into Italy and the continent. The problem was, its strategic importance was blindingly obvious to everyone, including the German High Command. They knew an attack was coming, and they were transforming Sicily into a fortress, reinforcing it with men and machines, preparing to turn the beaches into a slaughterhouse. A direct assault, as things stood, would be a guaranteed massacre. The Allies desperately needed an advantage, a trick so bold and audacious that it would force the Germans to ignore the obvious and look completely the other way. They needed a masterpiece of deception. The genesis of this plan was not in a war room, but within the pages of a bizarre document circulated in 1939 called the Trout Memo. This was a list of 54 wildly unconventional ideas for deceiving an enemy in World War II, all based on the cunning logic of a fly fisherman luring a trout. Buried within the list was suggestion number 28, grimly titled A Suggestion, not a very nice one. It proposed the simple but ghoulish idea of planting false documents on a corpse and letting it fall into enemy hands. One of the co-authors of this morbid thought experiment was a young naval intelligence officer who would one day channel his imagination into creating the world's most famous fictional spy, Lieutenant Commander Ian Fleming. 4 years later, two brilliant intelligence officers, Flight Lieutenant Charles Cholmondeley and Lieutenant Commander Ewen Montagu, decided to resurrect this dark proposal and turn it into a viable World War II operation. Their first and most macabre challenge was to find a body. This couldn't be just any corpse. The man had to have no living relatives who might come looking for him, and the cause of his death needed to be consistent with drowning at sea for a WWII deception. The London coroner, Bentley Purchase, located a tragic and perfect candidate, a 34-year-old homeless man from Wales named Glyndwr Michael. Michael had died alone in an abandoned London warehouse after consuming bread laced with rat poison. Whether it was a final act of desperation or a tragic mistake born of starvation, the world will never know. His unclaimed body was secretly taken into the custody of British intelligence and preserved on ice for 3 long months. Glyndwr Michael, the man, ceased to exist. In his place, a hero was about to be born, Acting Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. With their silent protagonist secured, Cholmondeley and Montagu embarked on the extraordinary task of inventing a life. They gave him the rank of Acting Major, a position senior enough to be a plausible courier for top-secret documents, but not so prominent that his name would be known to the enemy. They painstakingly assembled a complete identity, sourcing a proper Royal Marines uniform and creating the pocket litter that makes a person real. This was more than simple forgery. It was the creation of a soul. Major Martin was given a detailed backstory, a personality. They crafted love letters from his devoted fiancée, Pam, a role played by a young MI5 clerk named Jean Leslie, who provided a photograph for his wallet. They included a jeweler's receipt for a diamond engagement ring he had supposedly just purchased for her. To make their hero feel truly human, they gave him flaws. Tucked into his pockets were carefully selected imperfections, an overdraft notice from his bank, showing a touch of financial carelessness, an expired pass to Combined Operations Headquarters, implying a minor oversight, and ticket stubs from a recent London theatre show grounding him in a real time and place. The entire fabrication, however, was built around the centerpiece, a black briefcase chained to the officer's wrist. Inside lay the deception itself, a series of official-looking letters between two of Britain's most senior generals. The documents masterfully created the unshakable impression that the Allies' primary invasion target was Greece, with a secondary assault on Sardinia. The letters explicitly dismissed Sicily as a mere feint. The plan was so audacious that it required and received approval from the very highest level of the British government, Prime Minister Winston Churchill himself. The perfect stage for this drama was the coast of Huelva in southern Spain. While officially a neutral country, Spain during World War II was a hotbed of espionage, crawling with German intelligence agents. One of the Abwehr's most effective operatives, a man named Adolf Klaus, was known to be highly active in that very area. On April 19, 1943, the body of Glinda Michael, now fully transformed into Major Martin, was sealed inside a specially designed steel canister and loaded onto the submarine HMS Seraph. To ensure absolute secrecy, the submarine's commander, Lieutenant Bill Jewell, informed his crew only that they were deploying a top-secret meteorological device. In the cold pre-dawn blackness of April 30th, the Seraph surfaced silently off the Spanish coast. As his men prepared to release their precious cargo, Lieutenant Jewell solemnly read the 39th Psalm over the body. Then, Major Martin was gently committed to the waves, left for the current to deliver him to shore. The trap was now set. The following morning, just as planned, a local fisherman made the grisly discovery and immediately contacted the Spanish authorities. Word traveled fast. Before long, German intelligence was alerted. Through a network of sympathetic Spanish officials, German agents were granted access to the briefcase. They hastily photographed the contents and dispatched the film to Berlin. The deception was so flawless that even a line in one of the letters which warned that the Allies might use Sicily as a diversion was brilliantly interpreted by the Germans as a clever double bluff, making the intelligence seem even more genuine. Adolf Hitler was completely fooled. Convinced he was acting on absolutely reliable intelligence, he took the bait. He ordered a full panzer division to be moved from France to Greece and dispatched 2 more to the Balkans. He diverted critical naval and air forces to Sardinia and Greece. In doing so, he catastrophically weakened the defenses of Sicily, leaving the island dangerously exposed. Just as the Allies had prayed, the mincemeat had been swallowed rod, line and sinker. On July 9, 1943, Operation Husky commenced. When 150,000 Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of Sicily, they encountered far weaker resistance than they had ever thought possible. The bloody massacre they had feared never came to pass. The island of Sicily fell in just 38 days, a stunningly rapid victory that saved thousands of lives. This triumph led directly to the collapse of Mussolini's regime in Italy and marked a pivotal step toward the ultimate victory in Europe. Some historians even credit the operation with influencing Hitler's decision to halt the titanic Battle of Kursk on the Eastern Front, diverting his armies to deal with the new threat in Italy. After the war, Ewen Montagu quietly returned to his career as a lawyer, and Charles Cholmondeley retired from the public eye. For over 50 years, the silent hero of their operation lay buried with full military honors in a cemetery in Huelva, Spain, under the name Major William Martin. It was not until 1997 that the British government finally revealed the truth. An inscription was added to the headstone, giving the man his name back. Glinda Michael served as Major William Martin, RM. This incredible story stands as a testament to how boundless imagination, sheer audacity, and the quiet sacrifice of a man who had nothing could combine to save a generation and reshape the world during World War II. It proves that some of history's greatest victories are won not with bullets on a battlefield, but with brilliant lies whispered in the shadows.